Hello there, YouTube and vinyl community, and hello there, Kieran, aka Needle Groove. This is a response to your 150 subscribers contest. Congratulations to your 150 subscribers. I'm kind of new to the channel, but you have a great channel, and I really like your taste in music when it comes to 70s soul and funk and jazz music. I have discovered much new through your videos, and you're worth every subscriber. I hope that we will have a whole lot more subscribers, and it will be an honor to do a response to your contest. You wanted us to pick a jazz label and to show what we got on that label, and it was a little tough when it comes to what kind of label I was going to pick, because I have so many labels in my jazz collection. I'm collecting most of all older jazz from 1960 backwards, and when it comes to that, I'm a huge fan of these small labels that have decided to release much of the stuff that haven't been released before. I'm talking about radio sessions, live recordings that haven't been out before, or songs that have been previously unreleased before. And I was also toying with the idea of having something with a Swedish label from my country, maybe Metronome. That is an awesome record label with a lot of great Swedish jazz. But I also realized that there will be a lot of names that many of you may never have heard, so I scrapped that idea as well. Maybe Savoy. That is a label that have a whole lot of interesting history. Prestige. I'm a huge fan of RCA's French sub-label, or RCA Black and White. I released some great vinyls with the great jazz music. Maybe Decca would be interesting. But I realized that there's one label that I felt like this one is the best. And I'm not talking about Blue Note, because everybody else has shown so much Blue Note. Talking about this label, the Verve. No, sorry, wrong. Not the Verve. I mean, sorry about that. I mean this label, of course. Verve. I discovered Verve the first time through my friend Otto, who in the mid-80s made me discover jazz. And 20 years ago, I think it was about around that time, he said to me, when we were talking about Oscar Peterson, that there are so many great Oscar Peterson recordings on a label called Verve. And he said that I should go to the record store that we had back then that was selling new records, not a second-hand record store, and order a catalog or a brochure from Verve to see what they got. And I realized then that Verve is a label that have so much great. It's a great jazz label. Verve was created in 1956 by Norman Granz, and I like the idea of why he started it. He started mainly because he wanted to release some records with Ella Fitzgerald, because Ella was contracted to Decca at the time. So he created Verve mainly because he wanted one artist. And on that way, it was then. Verve became what it became. One of the biggest jazz labels in jazz genre. And in 1961, Norman Granz sold Verve to MGM, and it was taken over by Creed Taylor. Creed Taylor was put as the main man for Verve, and he wanted it to be more commercial, and he canceled a lot of contracts with great artists, and he released some rock artists also, like Velvet Underground. He released a lot of folk music, but he also still had a feeling for jazz, and released a lot of great stuff in the 60s as well. In the 70s, Verve was taken over by Polygram, and was a lot of stuff released back then that's not my kind of jazz. And 1998, the Polygram itself was taken over by Universal. So Verve today is part of Universal. But I will show a couple of CDs here from Verve, and those are of course not Verve originals. They are released through Universal, but Universal lets them have the label on. Of course, they realize that the name does have the name can sell still, so I count them still as Verve records, of course. So with that, Kieran, I hope that you will enjoy my little show off of my Verve collection. I will go off the camera for a bit, because if I'm going to sit and show everyone, I feel that this record will be far too long. So hold on to your seat. Let's move on to the Verve records. This is what we're listening to at the moment. This is the Jerry Mulligan album with a concert jazz band that I bought at the record fair a couple of weeks ago. I'm not going to talk that much about it, because I'm going to talk more about it in a future what I've been spinning video. And but I can say that I can really recommend this album. It's a really awesome jazz record, so highly recommend it. But this is not the only record that I have with a concert jazz band. Having this Jerry Mulligan and the concert jazz band at the Village Vanguard. Also really great jazz record. I really love the jazz live records, and this live recording is really great. Like this double LP set with Lester Young, Jazz History, Lester Young Volume 15. Coming to some records now with Stan Getz. Stan Getz released a lot of great stuff on Verve. And here we have Stan Getz and the Oscar Peterson Trio. Going to go in a little bit later on Oscar Peterson albums. But I have this album both on vinyl and on CD. The CD contains more tracks than the vinyl version, so I still I still have to have the CD version. This is an interesting one. This is Focus Stan Getz, composed and arranged by Eddie Sauter, conducted by Hersey Hay. Very interesting album. Here we have albums with the Stan Getz playing the Brazilian music, something that was done during the Creed Taylor leadership of Verve during the 60s. Stan Getz Big Band Bossa Nova, arranged and conducted by Gary McFarland. We also have this single, Jazz Samba, Stan Getz and Charlie Bird. Some more Jazz Samba. With this song on this Gary Mulligan album is so awesome. Really awesome ballad. More Jazz Samba, I said, but not with Charlie Bird. This is Jazz Samba Encore, Stan Getz and Louis Bonfa, and it's composition of Louis Bonfa and Antonio Carlos Jobim. It also has Maria Toledo on vocals. Charlie Parker had done stuff on Verve. Here is the Verve years 1952 to 54, Charlie Parker, 2 record set. Coming now to Jimmy Smith, who not only released music on Blue Note, he also released great stuff on Verve. Here is Jimmy Smith and Wes Montgomery, Further Adventures of Jimmy and Wes. And also my absolute favorite Jimmy Smith album, this Jimmy Smith Live in Hamburg. Really awesome. We're having here Jimmy Smith Hoochie Coochie Man, arranged and conducted by Oliver Nelson. And to that, you can also connect these ones, 2 vinyl singles that I have with Jimmy Smith. Here he plays Walk on the Wild Side, Slaughter and On 10th Avenue. Also conducted by Oliver Nelson, recorded 62 and 64. And here we also have another Jimmy Smith with Oliver Nelson. Here they play The Preacher and Hobo Flats. Coming to Oscar Peterson, who released much on Verve. He released on many different labels, but I think most of what he released was on Verve and on German label MPS during the late 60s. But here, of course, it is his Verve records, such as this Modern Jazz Quartet and the Oscar Peterson Trio at the Opera House. And of course, we have the Night Train albums, Oscar Peterson Trio, Night Train 1, Night Train 2, missing Night Train 3, unfortunately. I hopefully will have it soon so I can complete my Night Train series, because here comes Night Train 4. Here Oscar Peterson plays My Fair Lady. And here is a couple of records that I showed before when I bought them in a previous vinyl update. I think I played from one of the records also in the background when I did this video. Sleeve's not all that good in this case, but it's bought in a second-hand store. The Duke Ellington Songbook, Oscar Peterson. And the Jazz Soul of Oscar Peterson. And finally, Oscar Peterson Trio, We Get Requests. Really, really great stuff. He also plays some Brazilian music like Girlfriend in Ipanema and Corcovado. As I said, I also have some CDs with from Verve. Starting off when we added with Oscar Peterson here. Unfortunately, someone had writing on the sleeve, but this is a really, really great CD. Quiet Now, Time and Again. This is a very new Oscar Peterson from 2000, so this is released on Universal, on Verve through Universal. Really relaxing and laid back. I call it late evening piano music. This one I bought in Stockholm just this past autumn. Julian Cannonball Adderley, Ultimate Cannonball Adderley, selected by Jules Savinul. More Stan Getz. Stan Getz plays. And finally, some more Jimmy Smith. This is a great double CD. Jimmy Smith, Walk on the Wild Side, the best of the Verve years. See here, a lot of great tracks. We're having the classics here, The Cat, we're having Walk on the Wild Side, we're having The Champ, Hobo Flats, St. James Infirmary. So, that was my Verve collection. Maybe not the biggest one, but still it's a good one, and it's growing. I like Verve. To me, Verve is jazz quality. It's really great recordings. It's really fresh and awesome jazz, and most in the genre then of bop and cool that I like very, very much. I hope that you, Kieran, have enjoyed this little walkthrough, this little tour around my Verve records, and the rest of you also, of course. I'm going to come back soon. I still have some contests to do. I'm going to do cast contest, and as I said, I'm going to do a What I've Been Spinning video also, so hopefully I'll be back soon. And until next time, I hope that you have a very nice continuing of the weekend and beginning of next week, and so long.